Alright, so today I'm going to be installing a JBR short shifter on my Miata. To start out with, I'm going to go ahead and unscrew my shift knob, pull up on the shift boot bezel area, get it over my shifter, put that to the side, and then you have two Phillip head screws that you can go ahead and take off. Go ahead and put those screws off to the side, and then you can pull from the back and it's going to pop up. Disconnect it from the front, pull it up a little, then you're going to have your tab for your infotainment center control. And go ahead and gently slip the shift boot off, and then go ahead and put that to the side. And then from there, you're going to have 4 10 mils. That go on this little plastic cover. Okay. That's the side, and then you should be able to just pry up on the little rubber casing that covers. It takes this little piece of foam off. All right, put that to the side. Manual, which I will be referring to a lot, just to make sure that I am getting everything in the correct order and informing you correctly as well. So then you got 3 10mm bolts. That allows you to take your whole shifter mechanism out, and then I'm taking mine and putting it straight onto a shop towel to keep it nice and clean. Over to a 12mm, and then also go ahead and remove this little covering as well. And then you're gonna have 4 12mm bolts that go around your transmission. And then I honestly recently drove my car, so it's a little hot. And then at this point, you're going to want a pry tool of some sorts. So I had to go run and grab my pry bars really quick. Now that I got them, it should come off easy peasy. And if it doesn't, well, we're out of luck. So that was a little intense, but I got it finally. It takes way more force than you expect and or want to give it. That's for sure. All right, so now you got to get all this old gasket off. Be careful not to get too much of it down into your gear selector. For this task, I just went ahead and got me one of those cheap little putty knives you can get at the auto parts store. Just give her a little scrape around. My car has low miles, so it's not really giving up that much of a fight, honestly. Just gotta take my time with it. Right. And also make sure you clean up the bottom side. Go ahead and take a shop towel and just give it a nice little wipe around. Try and dry it off as much as you can so that when you apply your new gasket, it has a good starting point, the seat too. All right, and now you need to apply a thin, even layer of gasket maker. And do your best not to get any on the actual inside. All right, feels like I got that on there pretty well. And then you go ahead and you take your spacer plate and you put it on there. And I'm gonna go ahead, take my wipe and kind of go around the inside, and all the extra that's pressing inward, I'm gonna give it a little small wipe. And it's never gonna be perfect, but as long as you try your best, that's all that matters. And then you're gonna go ahead and I'm gonna put, instead of putting it onto there, I'm gonna put it on here because this is outside the car. And it's gonna be a little bit easier. Got about as good as I personally feel like I can get it. Go ahead and sandwich it in. Take my gloves off. Your 4 new bolts that came in the JBR kit. Go ahead and put them down in there. These bolts are 13 millimeters. Do kind of like an X pattern. I'm gonna start at the top left and I'm gonna move to the bottom right. I'm gonna go to the top. All right, so now that I'm to this point, I'm gonna go ahead and take the increted lithium grease looking stuff, and then you just apply a liberal amount all over the shift ball. Like for this, the more the merrier. And then these little slide pins and the sides of the ball. So literally just cover every aspect of it. There's no such thing as too much grease. Like the more lube, the better. Every aspect of your life. All right. And then you go ahead and line everything up. Kind of wiggle it on the way down. And you slide on your first one. And then you slide on the secondary piece and kind of line everything up. And then for these bolts, you're going to put on the crush washer first and then the flat washer. And then put it down in there. So go crush washer, flat washer, slide it on in. And then it's going to be 10 millimeter. Eight foot-pounds is a little bit less than hand tight. So don't go as tight as you can, just kind of snug her up. And then, yeah. And put all of these parts back on. Alright, so I got the short shifter installed. The throw is really nice. I can't wait to actually drive it, and I'm about to take it out right now and see how she feels. Alright, so this is my final thoughts on the JBR short shifter for the miata. And I have to say, I really like the throws on it. It's really precise, it's really clean. It definitely feels every bit of the 25% reduction that they advertise on the website. And it's just, overall, it's good quality, went to go, they're really well. So I definitely would recommend this shifter. It's phenomenal in the feeling. One thing I will say is with any aftermarket shifter, you're gonna get more of a noise in your shifter area because of the fact that it uses the billet aluminum housing in some parts of it, where the stock one had the rubber housing that's more sound dampening. So you get a little bit more noise, but I only noticed it with an aftermarket shift knob that didn't fit perfectly, so it kind of rattled around. With the stock knob, I really don't notice it. Like, I'd say it's perfect. But other than that, hope you enjoy this video and have a great day.